Now if we click on the checkout button, we are taken to the login screen. If we log in with our credentials, so we can now see the blank form with our details, which should be pre-populated basically with the information which we've given during the registration. This is where we've left our file during the checkout chapter. So if we go back to our checkout page, pages, checkout.php, first thing we're going to do now is we need to create a new object called object user, which will basically be an instance of our user class. Now we are going to create the variable called user equals object user, and we're going to use get user method, which we'll create in just a second. If I close the browser here, and we're going to get the ID from the session, get session, from the session login front, which basically stores the ID of the user record. Now we check if user isn't empty, in other words, if user record has been found. Then we scroll down, let's indent this entire code to make it easy to read. And our footer, after our require once footer, we close the bracket and we do else statement. Otherwise, we want helper redirect to the error page. So / page error. Okay, let's scroll up and let's create our get user method inside of the user class. So if we open a browser, let's go to the classes, open user.php file, and scroll right to the bottom. And after our last get by email method, let's create a few new lines. Start typing public function get user, and we will pass one parameter, which is ID of the user record, by default null. Now we check if is an empty ID. Then SQL statement select all from this table where ID equals single quote dot this db escape ID dot and a single quote right at the end. Okay, then return this db fetch one and SQL as parameter. Okay, so get user is done. So now we've populated this record. If we copy the name of the array, because this is now array, contains all of the details of the specific user. Now if we scroll down to our form and we start pre-populating it, so comma after, inside of the sticky text method, then user and the index first name, which is the name of the column from which we get the information now. As you may remember, sticky text takes two parameters. First name, which is, in this case, it's obviously the name of the field, and then any information, any data which should pre-populate the input. Then we go to last name, so comma, last name this time. Save the file, let's go back to the browser, refresh, and as you can see, the information now pre-populate the form. So if we finish with the entire form, we've got last name, then we have address, then we go down to the address too, then we have our town, county, postcode, then there's country, then we have email, And that's basically everything. So if we save the file, go back, refresh, you can see all this information are now pre-populated in a form. So if we click next, nothing happens because obviously our form doesn't do anything at the moment. So if we go back, obviously we need to write the code after is valid, if object valid is valid. So this is where we're going to be putting our code in a next video.